Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm trying to win a game of chess without breaking the laws of Islam. This is of course inspired by Guy Bordeaux's video where he tries to beat Minecraft following the same rules, which will be the first link in the description. We'll be using a combination of the Sharia law, which comes from the holy text of Islam, the Quran, as well as the Sunnah, and the 5 pillars of Islam to derive what rules we have to follow for the game. Let's dive in. Now, before we even start the game, if I'm committing to this fight, I am not allowed to resign, as the Quran says that when believers meet an enemy in battle, they should not turn their backs, except as a strategy or regrouping. So as far as the actual chess gameplay goes, if I need to reroute my pieces and maneuver in an attempt to win the game, that is totally fine. It's not like I have to move my pieces straight ahead towards the enemy king the entire time. But as for the match itself, I can't just abandon my pieces. In this case, I'm going to treat them as my men by resigning the game. Secondly, we save ourselves a lot of headaches by just playing regular chess. This is a chess variant channel, but just as an example, in spell chess, we have potions of freezing and jump spells, which are both forbidden by the Quran as intoxicants and magic. So before even starting the game, rule 1, we cannot resign, and rule 2, we will be playing just a totally normal game of chess. Our third rule will start off our game as one of the 5 pillars of Islam is the Shahada, which is basically just our profession of our faith. So in chat, we'll go ahead and type there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is Allah's prophet. So with that, we can go ahead and make our first move onto the board. And we are met with pawn to e6. We are just playing against Martin, so we can go ahead and dice out some strong developing moves and know that we'll get an advantage pretty darn quickly. Go ahead and retreat the bishop so we're not in danger by the pawn. And we are immediately put in check, which I am going to go ahead and defend by developing one of my pieces. Queen comes out to threaten who knows what, and we'll go ahead and castle the king. We are met with pawn to b5, which simply hangs a pawn on d5, and you can see we already have a 1-point advantage right here next to my username. With knight to d7, we'll go ahead and make that a 6-point advantage. Now, the reason that I'm pointing out how much material we are gaining is because the only other pillar of Islam that is applicable to this game of chess, Zakat, states that we have to donate back 2.5% of whatever our wealth is. Now, this is a yearly thing, but since this concept starts and ends with this video, we'll just consider this entire game as our year. Now, frankly, 2.5% is charitable, but not a challenge. And since I want this video to be somewhat challenging, we're going to voluntarily donate 25% or a quarter of whatever material we gain back to Martin before we give him checkmate. This optional charity is called Sadaqah. So we'll be applying those 2 principles to this game. Whatever material I earn, 1/4 of it I have to give back to Martin before I give checkmate. Now, on the bright side, I intend to keep many of these pieces on the board, so I should have plenty of material to give back when the time comes. We are met with bishop to d6, and Martin never misses checkmate in one move, which is currently on the board, so I do have to make sure to go ahead and defend that with pawn to g3, blocking off the bishop's ability to see the pawn on h2, and wow, there goes a queen. We'll go ahead and snatch that up. Bishop sacks itself on h2, and Martin seems to be in the right spirit of delivering checkmate, but with all the wrong move orders. Let's go ahead and just keep developing. We are met with knight to h6, and since we are up a lot of material, of course we do want to trade off pieces. However, the knight, or the horse, being the only quote-unquote animal or livestock in the game of chess, cannot be just regularly captured. In Islam, there is a specific halal method to end the life of a livestock. So in this case, before we capture the knight, we will type in chat, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and luckily since the knight will be eliminated immediately, we do not have to worry about a merciful fast killing since it will simply be taken off the board. The rook does in fact take back, and we can continue with our capturing of all of Martin's pieces. We'll take on c7, delivering check, and continue to create a whole bunch of threats on his position. Don't mind if I do take that free bishop. We have accumulated 22 points of material, so we will have to give back, rounding upwards, at least 6. Go ahead and bring the queen out now that most of the enemy's army has disappeared, and we can continue to make all of these beneficial captures. Go ahead and drop the queen on b7, forking the knight and the pawn. We'll go ahead and type the same phrase into chat before making this knight capture, and with that, we do eliminate the second knight, putting the king in check, which does move out of the way, and we'll continue to grab free pieces. The rook sacrifices itself for the knight. We'll go ahead and take back with check, and then we'll go ahead and snipe up these last 2 pawns as well, with the king now restricted to the 8th rank, since the queen creates this fence on the 7th. We'll take on g5, We'll snatch up h3. The king is not stalemated. He has f8 and e8 to move to. Now, typically I would deliver my favorite type of checkmate, invented in 3000 BC by Ooga Booga Ladder, which is ladder's mate, but we have acquired a total of 30 points of additional material. So rounding upward, we do have to give back at least 8 points of material. We'll go ahead and give Martin an extra point and make it 9 with queen to d8, sacrificing back 9 points of material. As you can see, our material gain is now only 21. We'll cut the king off on the 7th rank, shuffle the rook over with check, shuffle the other rook over, keep that nice and protected, and with king to g8, now I can deliver my favorite type of checkmate. With rook to e8, we do in fact win the game. Now, I do like this idea in the Quran that states that believers are one brotherhood, so they should make peace between their brothers, especially after a dispute. Now, of course, this whole entire game is rather metaphorical and really just a board game, but in the spirit of this idea, we'll go ahead and type Assalamu alaikum in the chat, and as restitution, we'll go ahead and paint Martin a nice little portrait as a sign of respect for giving us a good game of chess. With that, we do manage to win a game of chess by following, in a more literal sense, all of the rules of Islam. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Let me know down below if I should do this with any other religions, mostly as an investigative practice to learn more about these other religions and apply them to my favorite board game, and I'll see you guys in the next one.